Welcome back to another First and the 15th hosted by myself, Damelari. Today we're going to be talking about Prince. Come on then, let's go for it. This is the last one. Alright. In an era marked by hyper individualism, supplication and admiration, offers an ancient countercultural truth, and that truth begins with surrender. Reality just is more than a painting. It's an imprint of what it feels like to be in the flow, created in a burst of pure instinct. Preacher choir congregation is a visual philosophy on sacrifice and solidarity. Breaking past limiters is a study in emotional gravity and how connection both lifts and weighs us down. This painting is a discussion of the relational value and tension of people in predicaments. It can be self-inflicted or internal. The relationship dynamic between friends, coworkers, cohorts, or any plutonic relationship, the tension internally of creating more work and people believe in, or the friction of friends and how they can overcome conflict with one another. What is the relational value between two or more people, and how do they share space and community with one another? Okay, let me talk candidly about breaking past limiters. This was the original form of Ojiji. Ojiji is a story about tension and space, right? This is where we talk about dynamics now. This is the dynamic portrait that I am depicting with the Ojiji. This is Sans Elegante Pure. Well, no, it's Sans Elegante. Pure will come soon. But there's so much texture in this piece. And when we're talking about the space that each form occupies, we're talking about a composition that values each piece and sees the space between each one of the Ojiji and feels like we feel our emotion with that tension of what each form is feeling. When you're cramped in a space, when you're at unrest but you're laying down, when you feel like you're holding up everything by yourself, when you feel pressed against a corner, that is breaking past limiters. Let's keep going, man. Is it appropriate to be considered in your group to be considered the leader? If so, how much responsibility do you carry in your crew to make sure everyone does well? If it's not much, are you the leader or are you just a manager of personalities? Of all the paintings that I do, breaking past limiters is the concept of community. So, when community people make concessions, when in community, people make concessions when they're around one another. The space you absorb in people's minds fluctuates between day to day, and if you occupy too much space over a period of time, you become burdensome. I want to break past the burden of community, but we all hold weight on our shoulders of community. We have to look after one another. We know that sometimes we can make it on our own, but life isn't about being on your own. It's about being with the community. We can stand outside by ourselves, and we can even think that we're moving fast by ourselves because we aren't hindered by anyone or what people in our community will say. By the end of it though, we all know we can hit a wall. So managing how much you share of yourself in a space is important. Sometimes too many people can stimulate you all at once over a long period of time, and it tests the tensile strength of your friendship. Now it's up to you to manage a relationship between all people. You can sometimes be pressed against a wall even when the answer sometimes we have to break past limiters. We've got to break past. We have to create a sanctuary. We need empathy for ourselves and the empathy for people who we think are boxing us in. Because sometimes the box is only a place that they can exist in. That empathy has to be reciprocated. Breaking past limiters isn't just a visual proof of concept. It is a proof of community. It's a proof of a standard. It's a proof of quality. It is a proof of understanding. It is a proof that the reality that we live does not need to have us boxed in. Even when we think we don't need anyone, or we don't have a lot of chips on our side, and we think that the quality of people are on the other side, and no one is by our side, we can break past those limiters. We can remember who we're supposed to be. One thing with breaking past limiters, one of the most important things is that knowing that community, knowing that friendship is of absolute importance. I can't tell you how many times that I'm in a community with people, and obviously I'm the weird friend that. If that hasn't come across on screen already, I don't know. But I'm what would be considered the weird friend. I'm the eccentric friend, right? And I understand this now as an adult. But when I was younger, I didn't really get it. I didn't get certain things. I didn't get social cues, and sometimes I saw them and I thought they were silly. And that's when I would say to myself, yo, I need to be alone, bro. I need to detach from all of these people and the rubbish that they come with. Sometimes I can even still feel like that. But what is of most importance is the knowing that I have to be in community regardless. So I I have to live my raps. I can be here saying to people, oh yeah, community, preacher, choir, congregation, all of this stuff, da da da, supplication, admiration, reality drift, all of this, all of that. But bro, I get it. I was there. I'm one of those people. I had to assess myself and say, yo, Deech, as much as you can feel like this can be burdensome, I have to understand what are my limiters. What is limiting me from being around these people a whole lot? And I had to learn, not just from myself, but from others about myself and my relational value to them, and how much tension I bring people, and teach people how much tension they bring me. And in learning that, we learn how to be in community. We learn how to be better people within community. So yeah, like we need to live in the right reality and exist beyond our limits. Breaking past limiters is a study in emotional gravity and how connection both lifts and weighs us down. And this is for those that carry that without complaint, who felt boxed in by community expectations and kept showing up anyways, and felt relieved by the community being able to hold us up because we didn't have anything left to give. This piece explores the relational stretch between individuals, the tension of leading, supporting, withdrawing, returning, painted with insight, empathy, and it's a reminder that true community requires space, reciprocity, and resilience. Let this piece anchor your space both as a challenge and an offering. How much of yourself are you willing to share, and when must you protect your peace? Let me read that again. How much of yourself are you willing to share, and when must you protect your peace?